War, debt, commodities, those aren't just headlines, they are defining features of cycles. And few investors over the past few decades have spent their time studying those cycles than Jim Rogers. He's called commodity supercycles to a warning about the long term risks of debt and currency debasement. His framework's rooted in history, not emotion. So the question is now, in a world of escalating geopolitical tensions and late cycle markets, what is the Jim Rogers of it all seeing? And how is he positioning for it? Better yet, let's just ask him himself. Jim Rogers, welcome to Trending Trades.
I am delighted to be here, Chris. Happy New Year.
Thank you very much. And thank you for joining us from overseas. I know you're traveling right now. So let's just go with that intro here. You've spent decades studying these kinds of cycles, debt, currencies, geopolitical stress. When you're looking at today's environment, the rising conflict, the elevated debt levels, and the policy uncertainty, where are we in this super cycle right now? And what are the signals are you relying on to make that kind of call?
Well, I have no idea. I make many mistakes, but I will say that the U.S. market has never had such a long period of upward period without a problem. So this is the longest in American history. I have sold out of most markets in the world because I know that this is one of the few times when everybody is doing well. In the past, that has historically been a time to worry. So I'm worried and I have a huge amount of cash in US dollars.
Sure. And you've mentioned in the past that war doesn't cause the bear markets, but more or less exposes the underlying excess that's built up. So when you're looking at today's equity markets, it sounds like you're seeing those excesses built up. What's telling you that the unwind has already started that's pushed you into cash positions?
Well, just that everybody, nearly every stock market in the world is doing well. That has rarely happened in my lifetime. But when it has happened, it has been a time to be worried and to get out. So it hasn't, everything's okay now. But if you ask me, the end will probably come soon.
Say, I hope not this month. We only have about 4 days left. I have to put some positions on. But so, generally speaking, in periods like this, you have typically focused on assets that survive instability, not just perform in terms of growth. Within the commodity sector today, how are you distinguishing between trades that are already priced in for conflict versus those that still may offer upside over the next 6 to 12 months?
Well, I know very few that can offer any upside. Eventually, I hope I'm smart enough to sell short. I do own silver. I do own gold. If they go down, I hope I buy more. But Chris, as I look around, everything is doing well. And usually when everything is doing well, you should ask questions and start worrying. So I have started worrying and raising a lot of cash in US dollars, not other currencies, US dollars.
In US dollars, I think is the key turn of phrase there. Why the dollar and not anything else?
Well, the US is the largest debtor nation in world history, but everybody thinks that the US dollar is a safe haven. And so when the turmoil comes, everybody will go to the US dollar. The US dollar will have another leg up, I hope. And if so, I hope I'm smart enough to sell.
Fade the trade when it comes around. All right. Well, you've said just a few seconds ago that you own silver. Are you the kind of person who wants to add it on weakness here? Even though this is short term speaking, it's increasingly momentum driven, has faced a fair degree of difficulties. How do you balance out your long term conviction with the reality of the short term weakness, even around the Iran war?
Well, I'm not very good at market timing, but I know that throughout history, you remember Jesus Christ? Jesus Christ was sold for 30 pieces of silver. That was hundreds of years ago. Silver, even then and now, has always been a great store of value, great monetary sense, and gold as well. So I hope that I'm smart enough to always own silver. And if it goes down, then I will buy more. I know that silver and gold will always do well, especially in bad times.
I find it interesting that you have that long term faith where you're not looking to just time the market, but you're looking to build into a position over time so that You do have the exposure there when ultimately this event comes to pass. Speaking of this event, is it going to be US debt that tips the scales as a structural issue? You keep coming back to this even throughout this conversation.
Well, I would suspect so. I mean, the U.S. is the largest debtor nation in the history of the world. It gets it's higher and higher every day, every hour. So, I mean, so far we've learned to live with it. But always, historically, when somebody gets gigantic amounts of debt, eventually it causes problems. I don't know when eventually is, but I hope I'm getting prepared.
I guess that really underscores it. So if everyone's doing well right now, let's imagine we're going to go into a period where we're not doing so well. Is this going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back with respect to US leadership and accelerate the trend change towards India and China, which I know have been long-term plays for you?
China's the only country in world history that's been on top 3 or 4 times. Rome was great once. Egypt was great once. Britain was great once. But China's been on top 3 or 4 times. They're rising again. Who knows? I don't know. But I do know that they're rising again. And I don't know why they've been able to do it several times, but so far they have. And I do know they're rising again.
Jim, we're having this conversation at the end of March 2026, so the first quarter is almost done for this year. For the rest of this calendar year, what's the number one issue that investors need to be concerned with? Is it the war? Is it the fact that the Fed won't be cutting rates anytime soon? Or is it something else that we're missing here?
Well, what I think I see is that nearly every stock market in the world is making new highs, in many cases, all-time highs. Chris, that's great. Everybody's happy. But I know that when this happened in the past, it has been a sign you should ask questions and you should worry. So I'm asking questions and I'm worrying. I'm often too early. It's not my first time being early, but it's better to be early than to be late, in my experience.
I hear you there. My fraternity's expression was early is on time and on time is late. So there you have it. Jim Rogers, thank you so much for joining Trending Trades today. Jim Rogers, of course, the inimitable investor trading through these cycles over how many decades. You, of course, can get more interviews like this here on Tasty Live. Like and subscribe for more. Good luck trading.